Hello everyone. In this video I would like to show you my Poet's Pen, Spellslinger, Bladefall Bladeblast Ethereal Knight's Web of Conviction Assassin. Spellslinger is a new gem that they added in 3.10, and it makes it so that whenever you attack with a wand, you will cast the spells that are supported by Spellslinger. And Poet's Pen is a unique wand that triggers the socketed spells in this item whenever you attack. We are coupling two Poet's Pens and the Spellslinger gem and stacking a lot of attack speed, so that we can trigger 4 different spells very frequently by just attacking with our barrage. Poet's Pen has an internal cooldown that is much shorter than Spellslinger, and because of this we are using our Bladefall and our Ethereal Knives in our Poet's Pen. A lower internal cooldown means that we can trigger those spells more frequently, and so the main purpose of our Poet's Pen is to generate as many blades as possible with the Bladefall and the EK, and then the Blade Blast Spellslinger setup that we have will detonate those blades, giving us a lot of area of effect and damage. We are converting all of our physical damage to fire and lightning damage, and also, as always, making use of Malachi's Artifice to easily apply elemental equilibrium to enemies to give us a really nice damage boost. As you can see, the build is an incredibly fast build for mapping, and it can take on most of the endgame bosses fairly smoothly, because it is a ranged build with very solid damage. I would say that the only problem with this build is the visibility, because you're gonna be triggering a whole bunch of skills, and one of those skills is Bladefall, so it can be a bit tricky in certain boss fights like Cyrus, for example, seeing the meteors. Regardless though, even though the visibility is a problem, I've killed Cyrus 8, I killed Shaper, Conqueror, Shaper Guardians, and most of them were fairly smooth. I will upload a video where I killed endgame bosses with this character. That video will probably be up tomorrow, so you can see the fights for yourself. Before we move on with the guide, I just want to say that I stream on twitch.tv/Urburgle, so feel free to stop by and come chill with me. Okay, so before we talk about the gear, I want to quickly go over how the build works once again. We are dual wielding Poet's Pens and also using the new Spellslinger support gem. Both of these things will make it so that whenever you're attacking with your wand, as you can see right here, whenever you're attacking, you will trigger a different spells. We have a Bladefall and Ethereal Knives in our Poet's Pens. Both of these skills will leave blades on the ground. And then we have the Blade Blast in our Spellslinger. The Blade Blast will detonate those blades, as you can see, the detonations right here. And finally, I'm using a Web of Conviction as well. Since we are converting all of our physical damage to elemental damage, it does pretty nice damage. And it will also apply lightning exposure to enemies, which is a big debuff. But yeah, it's all about stacking a lot of attack speed and then triggering a bunch of spells as you're attacking with the character. Okay, now let's quickly go over the gear. As I've said earlier in the video, we are trying to convert all of our physical damage to lightning and fire damage. So the physical to lightning support gem will convert 50% of your damage, and for the remaining 50% we are going for gloves like this. You're looking for that, those two specific conversion mods, the conversion to fire and lightning, and on top of that you're looking for some life resistances. When you're looking for these gloves, you can look for an open prefix so that you can craft the life yourself like I did, or you can just look for the gloves. We are using a Malachi's Artifice to easily apply elemental equilibrium to enemies. We have a Vortex in here. Our Vortex only does cold damage, so it's going to reduce the enemy's fire and lightning resistance by 50%. And since we are dealing all fire and lightning damage, this is a really big damage boost, a really nice debuff that you can use on enemies. For your helmet, you're looking for Disenchant. The Bladefall has an additional volley. This will increase the damage of your Bladefall first of all, and then it will also make it so that your Bladefall will leave an additional blade for your Blade Blast, which is once again amazing. Just buy the base and craft the helmet yourself. You can use some of these essences. Essence of Greed will give you some life, and these are some of the resistance essences. Go for whatever you want. Crafting the helmet yourself should be fairly easy. For the amulet, once again, I would recommend that you craft this yourself. Buy a item level 75 or higher shaped base amulet, preferably Ember amulet, because the strength that you get will help you with some gems. You're going to craft this by first of all using Turbulent Catalysts for the elemental damage quality, which will make it easier for you to get that physical damage with extra lightning damage mod. And then you're going to be spamming some Essences of Scorn. This will give you some crit multi, and the two mods you're looking for in here are physical damage with extra lightning damage and the crit multi. The crit multi is going to come from the essence, so basically you're looking for the physical with extra lightning damage, and then you can craft some life and resistances yourself. For the ring, I went for the cheapest Assassin's Mark on hit ring. Since we are not getting any spell crit chance from our weapons, getting the Assassin's Mark is certainly helpful. For the body armor, once again, I went for the cheapest option. I bought a 6-link base for myself and then crafted it with the essences. For late game, there's a lot of options. You can go for a Belly of the Beast, Impulsa, Carcass Jack, an Explosion Chest. It depends on your preference and whatever you want to go for. For your belt, you're going to be looking for a Stygian Wise with some life and resistances. Stygian wise is the optimal base in here because you can put an Abyssal Jewel in here for some extra life and attack speed. And attack speed is pretty important, as I've said earlier. And finally, for your boots, you're looking for Tailwind boots. Tailwind will give you a lot of attack and movement speed, which is like super nice for the build. Ideally, for like enchantments, you want like the penetration enchant. That will give you quite a bit of damage against bosses. And then also like the Tailwind boots might be expensive, so maybe like you want to try and craft one yourself. You can get the Tailwind mod on a Hunter influenced boot that is like item level 75 or higher. So maybe like do some Cal spamming, maybe like do some Essence spamming if it's too expensive. But yeah, that's all the gear. Okay, for the flasks, Bleeding Immunity, Divine Life Flask, Diamond Flask of Warding for the curse removal, Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline. Cinder Swallow will give you quite a bit of damage because like if you can afford the crit chance, you can get the crit chance. And you'll also be like igniting enemies pretty reliably, so you can benefit from the second mod. If you can't afford this, just go for like a regular silver flask. And then finally a basalt flask of heat for the freeze removal. Okay, for the gems, we have a Bladefall linked with Spell Cascade and Physical Lightning and one of our Poet's Pen. If you can get the Awakening Spell Cascade, like that will give you quite a bit more damage. But the Awakening gem is like pretty expensive, so I'm not considering it for the build guide. We have a Ethereal Knife with Physical Lightning once again and an Inspiration in here for some like extra damage. In our body armor, we have the Spellslinger setup, Spellslinger, Energy Leech, Blade Blast, Physical Lightning, Web of Conviction, and finally Inspiration once again. We have the Vortex and Malachi's Artifice, Valve Righteous Fire with increased duration, nice for bursting down bosses and whatnot. Enduring Cry for like the endurance charges, physical damage mitigation, definitely helpful. Herald of Ash will give you like quite a bit of physical as extra damage, extra fire damage. And you know, like we are relying on fire damage as well, so good clear speed and damage. Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, Second Wind right here for your movement speed. Make sure that your Arcane Surge is like not above level 7, that you can get your Arcane Surge with just one Flame Dash cast. Blood Rage for some like extra attack speed and frenzy charge generation. And then finally we have the Barrage setup, Barrage, Inspiration, Calling Strike, and then finally faster attacks. Like these two gems are pretty important. Calling Strike is like a 10% more damage multiplier basically, and if you have the quality in here, it will also give you some attack speed, which is like very important. And then Inspiration, like this is also very important as well, like you're going to be generating your Inspiration charges with this. Okay, for the passive tree, once again, I'm playing an Assassin. Power charge generation, crit chance, crit multi, movement speed, you know, all that good stuff. Assassin has it all. I'm using one cluster jewel right here, and this is basically what you're looking for, the corrosive elements. Ideally, you're looking for corrosive elements, 2 jewel sockets, and then the third one is up to your preference. I went for Dorian's Lesson for some like extra leech, but yeah, like the two important things you're looking for in here is the corrosive elements and also the 2 jewel sockets. Other than that, we're grabbing like acrobatics and phase acrobatics for like the chance to dodge. For your regular jewels, this is very important. You're looking for like attack speed on like every one of your jewels. Attack speed with wands like the best mod you can go for. You can also go for like attack speed while dual wielding. But you know, like definitely make sure that you're getting attack speed on like every one of your jewels, because attack speed is very important. Anointment options, you can go for either one of these. Divine Wrath is better in the end, but like I didn't have the opalescent oil at the time, so I just went for this. But yeah, like this is your best bet for anointment. Like while you're leveling, you're going to grab this first, this second, and from your Uber Lab, you're going to grab Mistwalker. And like in terms of route you want to go for while you're leveling, grab this stuff like Trickery, go for this stuff right here. After that point, go for the spell damage here. From there, go for like the Wandslinger, the life nodes in here. Travel down this crit chance node, once again get life, and go for the Templar area. Like once you have this stuff, you can go work your way towards the acrobatics and the cluster jewel. It really doesn't matter too much. Leveling the character should be like incredibly easy. You grab the Poet's Pens, you know, like leveling anything with Poet's Pens is really easy. Like grab any skill you want, it should be smooth. And if you are like starting the league right now, I will put like an Assassin Blade Vortex character in the description, like a build guide I had for my Leaguestarter, and like you can Leaguestart the like start with that character and then transition into this character. The tree is like fairly typical, similar. I'm sorry. So that should be it about the passive tree. Pantheon, as always, Soul of Shikari for the poison immunity while you're mapping, and then Soul of Ruslata for like the flash charge sustain against bosses. And for the big one, you can go for whatever you want. So that should be it about the character, guys. Like, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. You know, if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, all that good stuff. I will upload a bossing video with this character in like a couple days. A video where I like kill endgame bosses like Cyrus and Shaper, whatever. Like that video will be up in a couple days. But I guess that's it, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for watching once again. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.